Hi folks, thought I'd give you a quick beginner's guide to kombucha. You've probably heard of it. It's in the shops a lot at the moment, really popular because it contains a whole host of different bacteria and yeasts that can help your gut microbiome. So as I say, beginner's guide and how to get started. First thing is to choose a container that is either glass or ceramic, but not like a leaded sort of glazed pottery type. Glass is the best option, and it has to have a very wide neck like that, nice surface area, because the bacteria need oxygen to grow. And so choose something. This is a 2-litre Kilner jar. It doesn't even need a lid. We're going to put a cloth cap on it. So I find that this volume is really good because by the time it's taken so many weeks to finish this one, the next one is ready. So, but I'm going to show you how to make 2 litres to start with. If you can get your SCOBY from a friend, that's great. But if not, you can buy them on eBay. A SCOBY, that's spelled SCOBY, stands for symbiotic culture of yeast and bacteria, or bacteria and yeast. Yeah. So, and it turns out it looks like this. It's a funny sort of disc that will be floating in actual kombucha itself. So you can see it's a funny sort of thing there. And so that's what will turn up. It's very simple. I've just boiled the kettle and we're going to make a big pot of tea using the same amount, right amount of water for this jar. So I'm going to get my kettle, which is just boiled, and I'm going to put 6 tea bags into my teapot. Now I'm just using ordinary Yorkshire tea. You can use tea bags, but actually I really don't like the microplastics, so I'm just going to rip the paper off it. Even better if you can use loose leaf tea, but this is fine. It does the job, but as I say, I'm removing the tea. Don't like microplastics any more than the bugs do. So just emptying that into my teapot, which you can see here, and we'll get that going. So you can use green tea, black tea, but don't use flavoured teas like Earl Grey, because some of these oils and flavourings could disrupt the microbes' growth. Black tea, and then also don't use things like herb teas or things like that that you're not sure about, because you could just destroy your SCOBY. So start off in the beginning with just ordinary black tea. I put 500 millilitres of water in my kettle, which I've boiled, and I'm going to add a 3/4 cup of just ordinary sugar, actually. So that goes into my teapot like that, and then I'm going to pour on my 500 mils to make a really concentrated brew, and then that will just give that a wee stir. And that was about, so 3/4 cup of sugar is about 150 grams. It's not an exact science, but that seems to work. Interestingly enough, I've tried using less sugar. Thought, well, why don't I just cut down on the amount of sugar, because I really don't want any left at all. But the bacteria kind of sussed it and didn't like it at all. So I'm back to just using the standard amount. So leave that to brew till it's nice and strong and it's actually cooled down. Now I'm going to pretend it's got to that stage at the moment, and I'm going to say pretend that it's now cooled down, and I will sort of give it a bit of a slosh around. When this is cool and all the sugar's dissolved, you can then strain it into your kombucha jar. Okay, so that normally would be really, really strong. I'll come back to this afterwards and have another go later, but this is just to show you. So you've got really strong sweet tea in here. Then I'm going to add, now if that's 500, I need to go up to about 1700. So, because I've got to leave room in the top, in fact, I'll go to 1500. So that's 500 in there already. That's a litre, and that's about 1500. So you can see it's come quite close to the top here, and I've still got room to put my SCOBY in the top. So it's got to come down to below blood temperature, quite coolish, and that I can feel actually is all right. That's fine. So I'm going to carefully add the kombucha first of all. Now this will make the contents of that jar acidic. That's really important because that acidity is going to stop other bacteria, yeasts and funguses, molds getting in. And then once that's, give that a quick stir. This will do. Just give that a stir. That's now acidified with the kombucha, and I can just pop this funny SCOBY in on the top and let it float. Now sometimes they sink and then they bob up again. Sometimes they half sink. You can see that sort of floating on its side. But within a few days, that will start to form a new skin on the top, which is the exact shape of the rim of this jar. But it's got a nice surface area. This SCOBY thing will float, usually floats, or they form a new one because the bacteria want to be at the surface to get the oxygen. So it's like a little life raft, if you like. So then all you need to do is pop on either a little bit of muslin cloth or a bit of fine cloth and put a tea towel around it. And that will keep out flies, other bits and pieces, but it allows the oxygen in to feed the new and the growing SCOBY. So put the date on it, on a little label, and put that somewhere nice and warm. Ideally a boiler cupboard, somewhere like that, sort of high 20 degrees if you can. The warmer it is, the faster it will develop. So in a couple of weeks' time, you would find that it's grown its new skin. Either the SCOBY that you put in has become thick, it's floated to the top and it's become even thicker, or if it's sunk to the bottom, it will have grown this new pellicule, it's called. You can taste it at this stage, and it should be quite tart and quite acidic. The longer you leave it, the less sugar there's going to be in it. But either way, there's always going to be a little bit of caffeine. This process doesn't destroy the caffeine. There might be a trace amount of alcohol. We're talking, under the threshold for an alcoholic drink. It's 0.5%, so very low alcohol, but there might be some in there. And there will be some sugar, depending on how long you've left it. So at this stage, I would normally strain it through into a clean bottle. So I haven't got my clean bottle handy. So I'm just going to siphon some off, just strain it off. That will go into a little pop-top bottle, and it will end up looking like this. So this would have come off the original jar, and it's now ready to drink. So you can I just keep it like this, and it's stopped fizzing, it stopped making any gas, and I just keep it in the cupboard. The way I drink it is to just put a bit in the bottom of a jar, add some sparkling water, and actually I should have mentioned that water needs to be filtered water, no chlorine or chemicals in it. So you might need to buy some if you haven't got a filter on your own tap. But then I just top it up with some sparkling water, and it makes a lovely, refreshing drink. Which, if you started off with a fairly well fermented tea that didn't have much sugar left and diluted it with even more water, it's a lovely, refreshing drink. Very thirst quenching. Really good. Quite tart, quite acidic, but very refreshing and incredibly good for you. So that's basically it. You start off with your SCOBY and 200 mils of the original kombucha, which you then add to your strong tea, and yeah, you can just let that go in a nice warm place for anywhere between 1 and 3 weeks, and then drink it like that. There's lots of ideas for adding ginger and herbs, lemon, lots of different flavors. And when I have done that, it has been really nice. I've actually just popped them in the top of this bottle to let them steep for a week or two. There is a secondary fermentation that you can do that will give it fizz, very strong. If you're interested in going down that route, then there are 2 books that you can look at for lovely ideas of flavourings. One of my favourites is the River Cottage Fermentation Handbook. Lovely ideas in there. But in terms of technical information, you can't beat Sando Katz's Art of Fermentation. It's a great source of, the best, most reliable information. So lots of reading and experimenting. If you're going to experiment with anything, make sure it's not your only SCOBY. In time, you'll be able to peel it off. In fact, it will get quite thick. You'll see from this. This is quite an old one. And you can see that it's actually got layers and layers. So if you're going to experiment, keep a couple of spare layers. So if your experiment goes wrong and your SCOBY doesn't like what you've given it, then you've still got another one to play with. And always remember to keep the SCOBY in the kombucha. It has to be kept sort of under acid conditions. And if it grows mold, I'm afraid I'm a great believer in chuck it out. Don't risk any sort of molds, toxins that could be growing on it. So there we go. Happy kombucha making.